This is Jive and Honey, famous for nothing. And we got a guest.
We have our very special.
He is a special
boy.
That's in a short bus kind of way.
Yes. That's how I took it.
I was thinking, like, how do you describe it, Gary? And he falls in the list of he's in the dead body friend list.
Oh yeah.
Which first thing you came in. It's like, am I here to move a dead body?
Yeah. We need your help getting rid of Michelle Trachtenberg's body.
Oh,
it's the first thing we said.
We're like, Michelle Trachtenberg died. It's like, oh, what happened? It's like, oh no, she's dead. She's in the other room and she's dead. We need help.
You need help. Yeah, that was
No, but like, there's a small group of friends. It's a short list that if shit went down, you could call them and you don't have to explain anything, and they would just come and help. So, and it's like, and it's funny. We have crossover friends,
Sure,
that are on that list, but then all those friends that are on that list, there is like 2 or 3 that you expected would call it in.
There is a surprise.
Yeah, and but it's dwindling because they're either sobering up or they're getting a family or they're whatever. So it's like, I don't feel like, I don't go to bed thinking, am I going to get a call tonight?
Right.
Who is it going to? It's like the Russian roulette of our friends.
There's one that I was surprised, and then I found out they sobered up, and I was like, oh, this makes sense. This is why you haven't called.
I thought for sure.
I thought we weren't friends anymore.
I thought it was me. All right, that's fine.
See, I'm just glad now that your kids are getting older.
Yeah.
It's like, now I'm not going to have to get rid of 3 bodies. It's like, it's only 2 at home. And pretty soon it's just going to be 1. Now we're talking manageable numbers.
Right. Right. Yeah, it's much better.
Above the helping you move, call.
I feel like
take it to the airport, help you move.
Right.
Get rid of a dead body.
Yeah, and you kind of age out of the other 2.
Oh yeah, you don't.
You don't age out of the dead body list, but
No, because you can always hire movers, call an Uber.
Yep.
Dead spouse removal service
is Harvey Cartel's not showing up to help you.
No.
I like how you went right to dead spouse.
Right,
we were just saying body, just generic body.
We were like any random thing. You're like, I think that speaks.
I've had a long week.
All right,
fair.
I'll put the ringer on when I put my phone.
Yeah. Don't be shutting your phone off tonight.
No.
At least give me a couple days.
But I also wanted to open up and just preemptively just get it out of the way. Apologize to Hillary now, because it seems no matter what we do together, we always end up apologizing to your wife.
There's only been, by my count, 2, maybe 3, because my memory is a little foggy.
Yeah.
3 maybe 3 instances where your life was definitely in danger or your marriage was for sure in danger. Like, we've almost ruined your life.
Is that what's on the other side of this paper?
No, I have our Gary highlights. I'm going to list them.
Okay.
And we're going to pick one to actually talk about.
Okay.
And to be your choice. Gary's
You're the guest.
Gary's bachelor party. Now this is where we're confused. There's 2 I'll briefly touch on. Gary's bachelor party.
Yeah.
At some point in the wee hours, like 2 a.m, I lost you.
Yeah.
And I was desperate, thinking that we lost you, like you were dead.
Yes.
And like I'm calling him drunk, being like, "We gotta find Gary." And then you just went home.
Well, I went home, and then Juan had my keys, so I went back to
I knew it was different. I knew it was about
okay.
But Juan was not at the club any longer.
Right.
No one was.
Right.
Except for the dancers. So I stayed, had another drink, and then I found Juan asleep in a car.
A car.
I remember
which
that.
A car.
A car, not his, not
No.
yours.
Right.
Yeah.
A car.
And I got and then I walked home again.
So when did you get assaulted by the fence?
That was my birthday. That was a different experience.
Wow. What happened during Fat Tuesday? We were drunk at
That was
11 in the morning.
That was another experience where I walked home from the club.
That's when you get abandoned by us a lot, Gary.
It's just, yeah.
Real sorry about that, first of
No,
all.
I don't. I always took it as I had to be the responsible one, so I'll be responsible for myself and make my way
You know what?
where I need to be.
That's actually, pretty.
So wait, your birthday?
Yes. So it was my 29th birthday. We were at 1060. Was that the name of the restaurant? It was like down on Dickinson or whatever.
Okay.
Anyway, we went out. My wife left.
Oh, but the story always goes sideways right around that point.
My wife left. We stayed. And Joseph said, I'll take you home. But we lived on this really tiny street.
You lived, I remember that place. Yeah.
So Joseph just dropped me off at the corner. And I had a house key and I lost it at some point in the night.
I'm starting to think you are the problem with keys. You and keys are the problem.
So
it's
that's
the
when you cut your hand.
Yes, I still have a scar you can kind of see.
She was so mad at me.
That's what's funny is that she wasn't so mad at you. She was like, it's still funny to her how mad you think she was at you.
So she's playing.
Yeah.
I appreciate
So she
that.
plays it
I
up.
appreciate that. But then when did you throw up upstairs and the vomit go through the floorboards into the freshly cleaned laundry?
That was the Fat Tuesday.
that was bad.
See, we mashed all of them up.
All of these events happened within.
That's why.
That was like within maybe a year, maybe less than a year.
Less than a year.
It was
I
probably
think.
less
It was
than a
like
year.
9 months.
Yeah. I guess
Okay,
it was. Yeah.
So that I could see where that would be a problem.
Yeah.
That's red flag behavior for sure.
Oh,
over the course of a year.
1000%. Yeah. God bless her for like noticing the red flags and being like, I'm at least aware of this. Yeah.
But the other two was when you were working with us. You worked with us for about a year, over a year.
It was. You want me to tell you how many days it was? An hour?
He's like, you go back to that building, you'll see marks on the wall where it's like a prisoner.
How many days I've been here?
He started tunneling like Shawshank trying to get out of that place.
Oh, I just remembered another one.
Oh boy.
Shit. But anyway, no, it was. We had done a job for Big Brothers Big Sisters, and they wanted to do a thank you lunch for us, and they gave us like a drawing of all the kids did for us of our logo and whatever. And we showed up so hung. We showed up late and hungover. Yeah. I had to leave the table to go across to the gelato place to wreck their bathroom. And I came back in a flop sweat, and like I maybe took one bite of my food.
Yeah.
You were so angry at us.
You were not happy.
Yeah.
Still angry.
No, I'm not anymore. It's funny. That's a situation where I was like, oh, I kind of forgot about that. But as you mentioned, I'm like, oh yeah, I totally remember that.
Yeah. All I remember is they were like, let's go get a gelato. And he was like, no, don't go back into that. And we walked in and I was like, oh, this place smells so terrible.
This is the worst smelling gelato ever.
Like, and everyone's eating, trying to smile, and I was like,
the place was so small. The tables were lined up right next to the bathroom, and the bathroom's paper thin. Like I could hear the people on the other side while I was like destroying.
They were all like what is going on in there?
I came out and I did an apology run all the way down the gelato line.
Somebody's practicing Santeria in that bathroom.
It was bad. It was bad. The other one, when we were at a client's place, and you and Jay were left alone in a conference room that they put us in, and then I went out with the client, and we were talking, and I came back to go get you guys, and I opened up the door, and you guys had taken a marker and written on the white walls, this completely white room, and then you were trying to rub the marker off because it was something very... It wasn't something we wouldn't want the client to see.
No.
It wasn't like offensive. I made the mistake of thinking that it was the dry erase paint. Because they had dry erase markers all over.
And erasers everywhere.
But no board. There were no dry erase boards.
Just assumed that the wall was dry erase.
Well, yes. I believe what happened was Jay
that might have been me. Yeah,
I believe Jay was like, they have all these markers and no board. And I was like, oh, it's the paint. Look, you just take the paint and then you erase it. And then I was like, oh no, this is bigger.
And bigger.
Yeah,
and
it's smeared.
And then whatever was already on the eraser.
You guys were scrambling. And like I knew the client was coming back. We left and went to another conference room
we
and
did.
didn't say
Nope.
anything.
Just made it look like they were told we were in the wrong
Yeah,
conference room.
they're like, oh,
which,
we were speaking about it. It's like, they told us here.
Yeah, I think that was the best thing we could have done.
Oh,
in that
it was.
In
situation.
hindsight, best
Yeah,
move possible.
Absolutely.
It was all done in less than a minute.
Oh, it was very fast.
Yeah.
I've never
Oh my
erased
God.
and
You don't know how slow time was moving
Yeah.
in the minute before you
But
walked
it's
in that
funny
room.
that we started the meeting and all of us had beads of sweat like coming down our foreheads.
Are you guys okay? Yeah, we were just jerking each other off before you got here. I don't know.
So you didn't destroy any of our property? Nope.
No,
Nope.
nope.
Absolutely none.
No.
Nope. Nobody
No.
came.
Have you guys heard about the dry erase paint?
That would have been a good gift to have sent them.
Shit.
Oh, man.
But then the other classic one, and this is like hard to tell because you had to be there, is Jay not being able to get out of his coat in the elevator.
Yes. I just told that story to Jared, who was our client there.
Oh, my
God.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was just talking
Did
to
he
him.
appreciate
Oh, he did.
how deeply funny that was?
Yes,
Oh my God.
he did.
Because it is hard to tell that story, and like because we were all in tears.
In tears. You ever laugh so hard you just like not your body just shuts down and you just start crying and you're just laughing so hard. We are all this is a really big it was at the time a big client for us and we were pitching like commercials, right?
Yeah. We were trying to get in with these guys,
And it was really big. Gary set it up. We were like pumping each other up. We're like, yeah, we're gonna do it. We're like, too bad it's wintertime because we got these big dumb winter coats on. And we're like, well, we should take them off before we get in there.
in the elevator, which
In the elevator.
opens up into their office.
Did we
So-
know
also-
that? Did we know that?
No, this was our first meeting at their office.
Yeah, no
That
idea.
was so
Yeah.
stinking. So Jay Zipper is stuck and he can't do it. And he panics like I've never seen anyone panic. And he's just like, he's frantically trying to, and it's like a big Eskimo thing with the fur, big fur hood. And he's just like, I can't, and he's like freaking out. We're like trying to get it off him. And we're
And I
laughing.
think it was like
but we're going up
shiny
the
and like
elevator.
maroon and shiny.
And
So
it was
like
loud.
yeah,
It was
I'd
just
look like an asshole with a winter coat on. And like all I could think was, we're gonna do this meeting, and I have this coat on.
And you have to keep the coat on the whole time.
And they're like, would you like us to take your coat? No.
But it was like on the clock because it was the 11th floor and it's ding, 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 ding.
It was a
the
race against
countdown.
time.
Oh, it was,
Our faces were red. We were crying. We stopped helping him. We were laughing so hard. We abandoned it. We were just like, dude. And he's just like, just fucking do something. And we're laughing so hard we can't
But I
even
couldn't
help
get
him.
it unzipped enough to get it like over my head.
And he's fighting his head's in the fucking fur hood.
oh,
Oh my God. And then it opens up and it's to the lobby of our clients. And the people are like, what the fuck?
we're all sweaty
we are
and again.
red face,
red.
sweaty.
We often were covered in sweat
Oh my
at
God.
the worst time. The zipper did come undone, and the jacket came
It was,
off.
and it was kind of like last minute. You were like, got it, and it came
Yeah,
off.
and
But
it,
we were
it
gone.
really
the
was.
doors open.
It was like
Yeah.
ding, ding,
Yeah.
ding. It was,
But we were so far gone at that point that,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I mean, we're bright red.
no, they were like, are you guys okay? What
We'll have some waters.
Yeah.
If you could.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, luckily they had a receptionist.
Yes, they were very nice. But it was like, you guys shouldn't be sweating from the 2 blocks from your office to our office. What is
In winter.
wrong with you? Yeah, in winter.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that was a
Yeah.
good one. That was.
Yeah.
I did not mind being at the ass end of the fucking
Oh my God,
horse costume
The
on
pan-
that
I
one.
could still see I can close my eyes and see the panic in your face.
It
was so great.
It was one of our better meetings because they hired us,
They
and
did
I think it was
hire us.
because the adrenaline was already pumping for
Yeah.
all 3 of us, and we were like, "All right,
we're
here we
gonna
go."
do this.
Yeah,
And you know what? Every time we walked in that building, I know that security guard was like,
Oh yeah,
dumb fucking
watching us.
yeah.
On his camera.
Yeah,
You're watching the elevator camera.
He's
just
probably
like,
played it over and over.
he probably
For like
showed
a
it
year.
to everyone else that came.
maybe
in.
that's why they hired us. He showed it to all of them on their way. Hey,
like, aw.
those idiots you guys talked to earlier today.
We can mark it down as like a special needs benefit job.
your Make-A-Wish meeting earlier. You see the footage?
It was a donation.
Holy
yeah.
shit. I'm feeling it now. I've got like a little fucking spot going now.
Good times. I hope that translates.
Oh, Gary Bear. I miss you, man.
Oh yeah.
But going through all that, you build a bond.
That's right.
It's like going to war. But we did have a purpose
Yes.
besides just shits and giggles.
Yeah. We do.
As the only expert at anything, self-proclaimed expert, which to be fair, you've acted as a self-proclaimed expert pretty much everything we've ever talked about. So this tracked.
Yeah.
No, we always go. It's like, is Gary smart? I don't know. It's like he just like came across. It's like, oh, Gary knows. Gary knows everything.
But we always had this joke where we'd be like, wait, is Gary smart? And then your mom would appear and go, Gary's very smart boy.
Yeah. Gary is smart.
It's Gary. Gary's right about everything.
We're like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Oh,
All right.
yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
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 Sorry,
Yeah.
we had doubts there. We shouldn't have.
My wife had the same question. She's like, but it's the opposite. She's like, I thought you were smart, and then I met your friends. Now,
Hence the apology.
and not just you two.
It runs the gamut.
Oh, yeah.
We know your other friends.
Exactly.
King of the idiots isn't really something you want to write home about.
Bragging about that to her friends. Yeah.
Like,
He's brilliant.
technically, he's the smartest of anyone he knows.
I know. That's why I wore my Cornell shirt. Just as even like.
We can all go to a gift shop, dude. He Tord Vanderbilt bought a shirt. I mean, it's like...
That's right.
Are you sleeping with anyone from Vanderbilt? No.
Not yet.
Well, how's your Tokyo family, Gary?
COVID was tough. COVID was tough.
Gary had a
Really?
job where he traveled to Tokyo a lot.
A
And
lot.
like every time we talk to him, he's like, I just got back from Tokyo. It's like, you have a Tokyo family, don't you, Gary?
Yeah, you went enough to raise a lot of suspicions.
Kids that say,
That's fair.
call him Round Eye Dad.
The smart thing was I hooked up my Tokyo family with the Tokyo dad. So
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
it was easy.
Done.
Clean break.
Yeah.
Yeah, COVID must have been the best thing that ever happened. You're like, sorry, guys.
Sorry, I
Yeah.
can't get on a
Oh,
plane.
really hard. Yeah, sorry.
Flights are grounded.
Holy shit.
Man.
Well, let's talk about, you do a podcast.
I do.
Yes.
Tell us about it, Gary.
I do a podcast with one of my oldest friends, Brad. You guys know Brad.
You would bury a dead body for him? Yeah.
Probably have.
Yeah, that was that shrug was a. I mean,
Yeah.
again, yeah.
Hey, look.
Yes, I would.
And Brad is obsessed with Saturday Night Live. I think he'd be okay with me saying that. And he approached me at one point about doing a podcast about the first 5 years of SNL because he saw a hole in the market. I didn't know there was a market for SNL podcasts, but there is. And so, yeah, we started the Not Ready for Primetime project where we talk about the first 5 years of SNL, or that's how it started. And
Yeah,
it
I was going to say,
has
you've
since
expanded the show a bit since
We have.
then.
Yeah. Now we do interviews. We interviewed the woman who just released Lorne Michaels' biography,
Oh, sweet.
Susan Morrison. She
What's
was
her
wonderful.
connection with him? Did she have one, or was she just...
She did. She worked on the new show. So that was like the 5 years that Lorne Michaels didn't do Saturday Night Live. He took time and wrote Three Amigos with Randy Newman and Steve Martin. And then he did a primetime sketch show with Buck Henry and some others on NBC.
Yeah.
She interned on that show.
Oh, wow. Jeez.
Surprising. And it was like just by happenstance. And then she went to work at the New Yorker. And she's a writer at the New Yorker for years. And so she knew Lorne and had this connection, and he has connections with the New Yorker. And she decided to write a biography on him after the 40th. And yeah.
It's been 10 years in the making.
Yeah, and it's amazing. It's like a 600-page biography that they sent us a printing early so we could read it, and it's fascinating. Like I'm not a huge,
You're like, I've been told it's fascinating.
Yeah. No, I read a lot of it, and Brad read the other. Like we had to split it up because we didn't have much time. And it was fascinating, just like this kid from Canada, like all these connections that he had and made. And I'm not like a huge Lorne apologist like some people, but I found that to be fascinating.
Interesting.
I mean, they get there somehow,
Right.
It's like, whether you like them, appreciate them, or appreciate how they got there, but they did get there.
Yeah, yeah.
Of course, we're always a day late and $1 short.
Yep.
In this show.
That's us.
So it's like, it's been,
this show,
it's been a couple
this
weeks.
career.
Yeah. I said we've always been, not the show. Always been. I have to say, I watched the anniversary show. I watched the musical documentary. I watched 3 of the 4 of the bigger documentary pieces. Did you watch? You watched the concert?
I watched I don't know if I finished the concert. Like I've watched pretty much.
I don't think
the
I
whole
finished.
thing.
They're kind of indicative of the show. There's brilliant stuff, and then there's stuff being like, why is this in here?
Yeah.
But I do have it's kind of my own doing, but I have a little SNL fatigue right now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You think you do?
Yeah. Oh, as the lead up to the 50th for our podcast, Brad and I decided, we should do extra content because people are going to be looking for a lot of it. We reviewed other anniversary shows. We talked to other people. We've expanded our format, so we do a bunch of different types of shows. And I think we put out. He told me yesterday we put out 10 episodes in 6 weeks. I think is what it was.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's crazy. It was just like a crazy amount of content.
Timely, unlike
Well, yes,
hey, it's still the 50th year.
That's true, and it's not even 50 years since the show premiered, so you're fine.
Right? Yeah,
you're within the calendar.
Yeah. We have till October.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
We talked to one of the original writers, and she was like, "Well, this is a celebration of Lorne. This 50 years, like." If you look at the other, they did a 15th, a 25th, a 40th, and now the 50th. And she was like, Marilyn Suzanne Miller. She was like, this is just celebrating Lorne. And how do you do anything for 50 years or 45 out of 50 years, whatever? Yeah. Because it's kind of insane.
Yeah. Saw, of all people, John Hamm, being interviewed, and he was like, I guess when he did his first comedy, coming off of Mad Men, and someone contacted Lorne Michael and being like, hey, we're thinking about putting him in this comedy. What do you? And he's like, he'll do the job. And it was Seth Meyers I was interviewing him, and he said, that is the highest compliment that Lorne Michaels will ever give you, is that he could do the job.
Yeah.
So that kind of put it in perspective.
Yeah, he's a man of few words when it comes to these things. And
seems like it.
Yeah.
Out of all the seasons, when did you start watching?
Yeah, what's your cast?
It's
right,
tough.
Because
I have everyone ask me that too. It's a tough question.
It is. I mean, I started watching when I was 11 in 1989. So it was Phil Hartman, Jan Hooks, Dana Carvey, John Lovitz. That was the cast that I fell in love with.
That was sort of my cast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it was Sandler and Spade and Farley come in and Chris Rock, and it's this is a nice transition.
Right. Yeah. And you make a good argument for those could be my guys too.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
So that's my sweet spot, because then I just was all right, I'm kind of tired of the show in the mid to late 90s, and it was Michael McKean and
right,
Jay Moore,
I fell into just before then, in the late 80s, when it was Eddie Murphy's crew. He was freaking Charles Barkley and the Sixers. He had no one around him. He had Joe Piscopo. I was going with that Pesci, which is kind of funny. He had Joe Piscopo, and then he had no one else.
No one else on that cast.
Ted Kaczynski, what I don't even know. Mary Gross.
Yep.
Jim Belushi. It's
Jim Belushi. Julie Louis-Dreyfus comes in the middle of that. She came in with
2 years or 1 year.
She was there for 3 years. 8, 9, and 10. She came in with Gary Kroger, who we just talked to yesterday and interviewed.
Oh, sweet.
He's very nice. And that Eddie Murphy carried the show, and Dick Ebersol knew that and was just because Lorne had this thing where it was you can't really do other things, whatever. And for Eddie, Dick Ebersol was do whatever the fuck you want.
Let him.
He missed the first couple of shows of one of the seasons because he was filming, I forget if it was 48 Hours or whatever.
Right.
And Dick Ebersol was just oh, can you do a bunch of pre-tape stuff? So they did James Brown Hot Tub was a pre-tape thing because Eddie Murphy wasn't going to be on the show that week. Yeah. Eddie Murphy is that's those years are kind of lost in retrospectives and stuff because it wasn't the Lorne years. But you can't help but to celebrate Eddie Murphy because he's just amazing.
Yeah, I think that was also where the show really sort of transitioned into it laid a lot of the groundwork for what is now. It's you could be pretty heavy on some pre-tape stuff, and you can do stuff. They edited differently. For the first time after those initial few seasons.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
And talking to Gary Kroger about this, he made the point of saying Dick Ebersol had the impossible task. He didn't follow him, so someone else, Jean Domanian, was the original producer after Lorne Michaels, and she got fired after one season. And then it was like, Dick Ebersol, you have to save this show that you helped create. And so he kept like the schedule the same. So it was like Mondays you meet the host, Tuesdays you write, Wednesdays read through, but everything else he just played with and like tried to keep things more current rather than saying like, well, this worked for Belushi and Aykroyd, it'll work for Eddie Murphy and Joe Piscopo, which is brilliant.
Yeah, because you had to adapt to, especially when you're hanging the show on a star.
Right.
It's, you better work with them.
Yeah. It's, and everyone's favorite thing in all the documentaries are the auditions,
right?
Which are amazing. I can't. The thing is very Flashdance, where it's just like it is a quiet, empty room.
Yeah.
And it's like go.
I can't imagine
your
that.
whole life is gonna happen in 5 minutes.
Right. And listening to people talk about that, like people who made it and people who didn't,
laughing.
it's like
you don't. There's no like
no tactile response. It's
right. Yeah. How fucking nerve-wracking must that be?
Yeah, especially you got you have people that go and do impersonations, but then you have a lot of people that are like just going in and doing stand-up. Yeah. So they've been going to clubs and running 5 minutes and like getting laughs again, and they're like, oh, this is now honed into the best possible thing because it gets the laughs and it's paced right. Then they go to a room and nobody laughs.
Yeah.
That's
I saw the is it Borghese?
Nate Bargatze.
Borghese, that's it. I guess after the 50 show, they went to or before the next day or something, they went to the comedy club, and like Steve Martin, Martin Short, and maybe Chris Rock went up and did a set, and then someone else showed up, and it was like Sandler, Spade, and someone else. Then Borghese. It was just like it's like people paid $18 to see this lineup.
I know, it's insane. And it was like earlier that week because Steve Martin,
that's what it was. Yeah.
Steve Martin, Marty Short, and Mulaney went. Because Steve Martin was like,
it was Mulaney. Yeah.
Steve Martin was like, I don't do stand up anymore, and I'm gonna do this monologue. Let me just like get up in front of people. Yeah. And then Nate Bargatze and Spade and Chris Rock go.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And David Spade I heard David Spade tell the story where he was like talking to someone while Nate Bargatze was up. He's like, this is pretty weird, right? Like Nate and then me and then Chris Rock. And the guy was like, well, an hour ago it was Mulaney, Steve Martin. And he was like, God damn it, we were late. Like, that's insane.
Yeah. That's insane. Yeah, that's winning the golden ticket for sure.
Yeah, but I mean, it was probably like the Comedy Cellar or something. There's so many of those nights where it's like, where if people are Chappelle, Colin Quinn, Jim Norton, somebody else, like they all happen to show up that night.
Right.
Like,
no, I know. Yeah. I go to the Comedy Cellar and it's like Sam Maturo.
All right. So out of all of Saturday, who's the one? I don't want to say can't do any wrong, but who's your guy? Or girl that the career after Saturday Night Live you're still sticking with them?
Oh, the career after. Oh, that's a good question.
Like they were so great on the show, and continue to be,
because there's quite a few.
There are, and actually, my answer to this is in my mind, the best career of anyone at Saturday Night Live, or to come out of Saturday Night Live, was Conan O'Brien. He was a writer, is very different, but then he goes and works on The Simpsons, and then he becomes Conan O'Brien, right?
Yeah,
very different than the others. So that's different than what you're asking me, but I would say
that's a good answer.
That's a good answer.
That's a great answer
because he did so many things that so many people would kill to do.
Yeah,
arguably the funniest episode of Simpsons ever.
Yes.
Excuse me.
Host a groundbreaking late show.
Right.
Where your staff includes Robert Smigel, Louis C.K. And you hired those guys. Yeah. You're responsible for so many comedy people now,
right?
And actors. It's a good choice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But cast wise, that's really tough because I feel like
Chris Kattan.
That's my ride or die. Chris Kattan.
Corky Romano forever, baby.
Corky Romano costume for years is
it's the easiest.
Take my pants off and eat an apple. What do you want?
It was a shock to the new neighbors the first year.
Yeah. They did not care for that.
Because I did it on my neighbor's wife's lap, you know. Oh, nice.
No, well, do you need like a Mount Rushmore, like to?
Well,
check,
I have the
boxes?
most successful outside of SNL people.
I do imagine Sandler is.
Sandler's number
Well,
one.
yeah,
right,
like,
'cause
what
he's
he's
more
done
money
is
than-
amazing.
yeah.
You know his second? Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's
Three hit shows
Yeah.
in a row.
yeah.
3
And-
shows from 3 different Emmys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like if you take
Emmys
away
for 3 different
Seinfeld, and she killed it in Veep. It was
Yeah,
like for
Veep was
years,
amazing.
Yeah.
Aykroyd
Yep.
is up there.
Yeah.
Just because he was
Dr.
the creator
Detroit,
of Love.
I love
My stepmom's an alien. Yeah.
Yeah. And, Donna Dixon.
Then it's Murphy and Myers.
Dude,
Is this? Are we? Are
it's not
This
just
is the
financial. Or
Yeah, this is finance. This is like the
Like-
most successful.
got it. Okay, so like money they're bringing in, like
Yeah,
because
they're
Dan
having-
Aykroyd's got that
like,
vodka money and yeah,
yeah,
House of Blues money.
House of Blues.
right.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
owned.
Hey, Eddie Murphy owned part of Planet Hollywood.
But then on the back end, it's Tina Fey, Fallon, Tracy Morgan. I don't know if they included the Walmart money, but but Spade. Like I like Spade so much more now than I did back then.
I agree.
He's gotten actually funnier.
I think he's funnier, and also his sense of humor is better now than I think it was. It was too. It was a little too whiny.
It was precocious.
Yeah.
It was almost like an overgrown kid.
He was like a
Yeah.
village.
Yeah, and now he's
Yeah.
Now he's
it's
a
better.
funny individual.
Yeah.
On the bottom was not on the bottom. It started at 50 million. Chevy, Billy Crystal, Chris Rock.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Will Ferrell was up there
Sure.
between Faye and
Yeah.
Bill Murray.
But who's
Yeah.
for you? Like finances
if
aside.
someone's putting
Yeah,
out
yeah.
a project, you're like, I'm going to see it because he's putting out this project.
It's probably Bill Murray. Now I don't know
Yeah,
if it
yeah,
always
yeah.
was, but
Right.
now it's Bill Murray, and I like go back and look at old Bill Murray stuff, and I'm like, oh yeah, he was really good in that.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And I like the stuff that isn't comedy.
Right.
Right. Like Broken
You know,
Flower.
That's
Broken
it. Yeah,
Flower.
I was trying to remember
Yeah.
the name of that. Yeah.
St. Vincent was really
Yeah.
good. I
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
like that. I like that he played FDR in one. I thought
Yes.
that
Oh
was
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
decent.
That's right. He did.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Bill Murray's a pretty solid choice. That's
Yeah.
No, it's all good.
And he was funny in the 50th. I thought he did a really good job with his bit at Weekend
Yes.
Update of the Countdown.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
he did
for sure.
Eddie Murphy killed it. I thought
He
him
was-
doing
he
Tracy
was-
Morgan
yeah.
in the Jeopardy.
Doing Tracy Morgan next to Tracy Morgan
Next to
was
Tracy Morgan.
so much fun.
I mean, I'm sure there's a story to it, but he for sure did not do it at that level during rehearsal because Tracy Morgan was stunned by
Yeah.
how funny that was.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
And he was like, I don't see the resemblance. Yeah.
Yeah, it was so good.
Yeah, that's a very funny bit.
But he didn't. I kind of remember that Eddie Murphy did not participate in the other anniversary stuff, and he kind of caught shit for it.
Right.
That
He
it's
did.
like, yo, man, you're kind of a big deal here. You should show up.
Yeah. For the 25th, it was Eddie Murphy's entourage was there. And then at the 40th, he was there. They asked him to do Bill Cosby, and he wouldn't do it. So
You know what?
Kenan
Actually,
Thompson
good,
did
good
it.
choice. Solid choice not doing Bill Cosby.
But he came out, and they just like gave him. They announced Eddie Murphy. He comes out on stage, gets this standing ovation, and that was it in the 40th.
yeah, that was weird.
And that was
That's
the
what I kinda
shit.
remember.
Yeah.
Everyone was like,
That
"What
was
that?"
the 40th, yeah.
Yeah. But then he came back and hosted a couple of years ago.
Oh, Dolomite.
When Dolomite was out. And if you go back and watch that episode, it's hilarious. It's a Christmas episode.
really?
And he is so good.
Because his projects lately have not been hitting.
No.
Yeah.
Well, he was promoting Dolomite at that time, which he put a lot into.
Yeah, that movie he did with Jonah Hill was not good.
Well,
It was.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
put him
not
on the
good.
list of people who did movies with Jonah Hill, and then you're like, ugh.
What's your favorite SNL skit character that became a movie?
This one's. I'm gonna discount Blues Brothers because it wasn't really a sketch.
Right.
So Wayne's World, because I was like of the age.
That
I was
was
like
it.
Perfect time.
13, 14 when
Yeah.
that came out. I was Wayne for Halloween before the movie came out because I watched Saturday Night Live and people didn't know what I was. People were like, "What is this?"
Photos? You have photos?
I don't.
Come
You
on,
do.
you do.
You definitely. 100%
Hillary's gonna get a
have
call
photos.
after this. I didn't know that they made a movie about It's Pat.
Yeah. I did not. I have not seen that.
Yeah, I have not seen
No one has seen that.
No.
Lord
No
Michaels
one did.
definitely did not see that.
it grossed $60K.
Wow.
Wow. Al Franken did a Stewart movie.
Yep.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
a MacGruber, which I really find MacGruber funny.
I love Will Forte. He's
Yeah,
like one of those that I'm like, the longer I go without seeing him, I'm like, oh yeah, I really enjoy
He's a wild card.
He is.
Like you do not know what.
You know what though? I don't know that I've seen something that he hasn't delivered when he's been in it. Because
Right.
on 30 Rock, he killed it.
Yeah.
I mean, MacGruber.
His Last Man on Earth show.
Last Man on Earth was
really good.
He
Like,
was great.
so what a surprise! Yeah, that was really fun. It's a real shame about the Acme movie.
Yeah, I heard
got
that.
Shelved. Yeah,
That's a
Yeah,
bummer.
he was pretty
What was
pissed about
that?
it.
He was going to do a movie where I think he was a lawyer representing Wile E. Coyote suing the Acme company
For faulty
for
products.
faulty products. Yeah.
So yeah.
But were they gonna? I wish they would have done it like serious. Like you know,
I think that's his
class action
like his
lawsuit.
style.
Yeah,
That's how I
Like a
took it.
John
I was
Grisham
like,
movie.
yeah, it would have been so good.
It's like a John Grisham movie meets Space Jam.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh man, that's
Yeah.
the pitch. That's
And
the elevator.
But
pitch.
The Pelican Jam.
they Pelican Jam.
Wow.
Yeah, but they shelved it. They shot it. They edited it, and they won't release it.
Fucking Warner Brothers.
Yep.
Warner Brothers.
Warner
Yeah.
Brothers won't release it.
Fuckers,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, Will Forte campaigned against them.
Tim Meadows had a Ladies Man movie.
Yes.
I don't
Yes.
quite remember seeing that.
I think you're fine.
Yeah. Coneheads did not hit, I don't believe.
No, that was a little too. They
It was
waited
too late.
long.
It was.
Oh,
They
yeah,
waited way
yeah.
too long to put that movie out.
Night at the Roxbury.
Night at the Roxbury, which my wife loves that movie.
Really?
She
does.
finds that movie to be so hilarious. I think it hit her at the right time. You know,
Oh
like-
yeah.
I think that might be a psychological profile that you could use. So instead of like a fit of rage,
So
you
instead
could
of calling you guys, I could just call. I'd be like, she loved Night at the Roxbury.
Your Honor.
we can't convict.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury. I'll have Will Forte represent me.
That was actually her impression of the two of you when she first met you at Jolly's. She was like, "Oh, yeah."
It's like, I like them because they're like the guys from Night at the
Yeah,
Roxbury.
exactly.
These two idiots.
Yep.
Well, at least I'm Will Ferrell. Jesus.
Which says more about her.
Mary Catherine had Superstar.
Uh-huh.
I kind of remember seeing
Yeah.
that. That was all
Right.
right. And then Blues Brothers and Wayne's World.
Yeah.
Top the bill.
Yeah.
Blues Brothers was great.
Blues Brothers is
Blues
amazing.
Brothers was great.
So great.
And it's fucking Princess Leia's in it. She's so good.
She's so good.
Oh, yeah. She's great.
I always just, I have that visual of her. Was it a shotgun at the end of the movie, like in
Yeah,
the mud?
in the mud. Yeah. Yeah.
That's Carrie Fisher to me. Like not Princess Leia.
right, right.
That's
Her in the mud with a shotgun is
That's
what
how
I
you
see.
picture Carrie Fisher
Yes.
in real life.
Yeah.
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 Okay. Makes sense.
Then she almost married Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And then she left him to go back to Paul Simon, who she left to go to be with Dan Aykroyd.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Paul Simon left her to go to Dan Aykroyd? No, okay.
Paul Simon just apparently
Yeah.
sits in New York City and women flock to him in the late 70s, early
People come
80s.
and go, and he doesn't
Yeah.
really understand what's going
Fucking
on.
Paul Simon.
It's the worst.
Oof, that was a rough open to the 50th.
Man.
Right?
With
Well, there was like
Sabrina
they
Carpenter.
were
Sabrina
like,
Carpenter.
Lauren, what's your one indulgence? He's like, I want to hear Paul Simon again.
Yeah.
It was a funny opening line. It's just like, oh, I did this in 1976.
Yeah.
And she's like, I wasn't born.
Right.
Neither was my mother.
Right. Yeah.
But
Which
then
was
he
funny.
went on and like, I guess it was singing. I don't know. It was tough.
Yeah. It's tough. Like the dude's in his 80s.
80s. I know.
But like Paul McCartney is also in his 80s and did much better.
Yeah, he did a little bit better.
But yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge Paul Simon fan, and I knew that was coming, and I was just like, I was more disappointed in Sabrina Carpenter, to be honest, because she did not sound good either.
Oh, she did not.
I cannot believe
But
the amount of
but-
airtime she got in that
I
show. It's
know.
like, We didn't know her 2 years ago.
Right.
Get her off the fucking television.
Yeah.
But I don't know a lot about singing. But I think when you're sitting when someone's that bad next to you, it's gonna throw your game off a little bit. But I don't think she's really known.
But then
for
later
her.
in the show, like she did some singing, and I was like, "What is that?"
good. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I don't think she's particularly good. Also, do you want to be the chick who showed up Paul Simon and made him look like, oh, cool, you made an 80-year-old guy look like an idiot. That's nice.
you're there to the only reason she's there is because he can't carry this.
Right. Yeah, true.
Right. And
Bring out Art
Garfunkel.
Garfunkel.
Out of that joke.
Right.
It's like the joke was worth it.
It would have been funnier if she came out in an Art Garfunkel wig, just like big curly wig.
Yeah, it's like
That would have been good.
Yeah.
That would have been funny.
That actually was a joke that Charles Grodin did with Paul Simon when Charles Grodin hosted the show. So that was not original content. I'm just realizing. I felt good about it for a minute too.
Yeah.
It's like, I got to own up to that.
Yeah, no, that's Charles Grodin.
Yeah, she's like, Charles Grodin died before I was born.
Holy shit.
Oh, man. So so Mount Rushmore of SNL, who's it going to be?
Phil Hartman,
For sure.
Dan Aykroyd.
Okay.
I think Norm. Like Norm doing Weekend Update was always my favorite Weekend Update. It's tough.
And if that's your error too, like Norm just kind of, influences your comedy outlook.
Absolutely.
Like it's just like I just love him.
But I think that's the thing about whatever your Saturday Night Live cast, the cast that's yours, they've informed your sense of humor so much.
Yeah.
Totally.
It's sort of like those early things you watched with your dad or whatever. It's like, oh, well, Mel Brooks movies, like that's kind of my sense of humor because I watch it with,
Yeah.
those people that were writing and acting on Saturday Night Live at that time, like really shape, like Dennis Miller had like way too much influence on my sense of humor.
Oh,
but
yeah.
it was like, he was doing the Weekend Update and
That's totally tracks.
That's why
what
you're
I
so
know.
fucking snarky.
yeah, probably.
This makes sense now.
This is all coming together. Holy
Oh.
shit. God damn.
Yeah, Night at the Roxbury, Dennis Miller. All of a sudden, things
That's
make
a
sense.
hot mess too. Of Saturday Night
This
Live.
is good. Yeah.
All right, so we got Phil Hartman, we got Danny Aykroyd.
I guess Norm. I mean, Norm's one that I'm like, he was so influential, and he, even though he only did
This is
Update,
a person.
but he's
This
good.
isn't what you think
Yeah.
is the best. It's your person.
I think Jan Hooks. Like I
Wow.
feel like I have to put a
Whoa.
woman up there, but
Yeah.
she was amazing.
Yeah.
Like she is one of my favorites of all time.
Huh?
She's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She could like play any type of character, play the serious role, play something just outlandish and funny.
That's pretty good. Yeah, that's a pretty solid lineup. Yeah.
Is that 5?
That's
That's four. There's only 4 on Mount Rushmore.
for now.
Jesus shit. Yeah. Stop.
All right.
Stop. Oh yeah.
But when you like, did your siblings watch Saturday Night Live when it came out? Like when
Oh,
when you were
Like,
younger,
I
were you
remember
exposed to it?
I was young. Like I knew of like Bill Murray. I think everyone in my family really liked, and Belushi. And I remember I wasn't allowed to stay up to watch it, but my brothers and sisters did, and it pissed me the fuck off. And like I'd be in my bedroom, kind of listening to it, and I knew it's like you're laughing and having fun without me. But yeah, so it was there to be. I couldn't wait. I was old enough to stay up past 11.
Right. And then when you were, that was like the end of Bill Murray,
Right.
and then into like Eddie Murphy and that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I mean, it's so weird that it's been around for 50 years now, and everyone younger than 60 can say like, yeah, I was able to start watching now.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Then it's fascinating to me.
Yeah, and it seems like this generation, this cast is kind of hitting, a generational thing with this new cast.
Yeah.
It seems like it's getting a little bit more life than it had in the last 5 years or so.
I think so. I mean, I think these anniversary shows always help too, and all of the press that went into the 50th.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think they have also reached a point now where they're sort of platform agnostic, where they're like, yeah, you watch the show live, you watch it on Peacock later, you watch it on YouTube in bits.
Right,
Doesn't matter to us.
Right.
As long as it gets into
'Cause you're watching it later.
it gets into the zeitgeist, and it's
Right.
Yeah, I've stayed up past 11:30 in 9 years. I mean, it's
Right. Yeah. No, you don't, and you don't have to. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah, that's sort of the best part is you don't have to stay up to watch it and I think that's why people like sort of phase Saturday Night Live out of their life at a certain point, because it's like, oh, well, I'm not home to watch it live.
And then when you have kids, like there was a stretch where when my kids were little and it wasn't available on streaming like it is now. So I was just like, I lost touch of the show because I'm not going to stay up until 1 o'clock and then have a baby wake me up at 5 a.m.
Yeah, of course not.
No.
Yeah. So I think now it's very much into popular culture again, just because they've opened themselves up to so many things and different kinds of cast members. And
and I've seen so many clips on my feed.
Yeah,
that I feel like I've been watching this new cast, but it's only because my phone is showing it to me.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's kind of amazing now that my kids are older. They both watch Saturday Night Live. And they have their favorites and they have their sketches that they're like, this is funny, this is not, and things like I get quizzed on, did you think that was funny? And I get nervous. Like, I kind of liked that. And it's like, oh, you would. I was like, I don't know what that means, but it works.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah,
it's written by an old white man. Of course you'd like it.
Exactly.
Oh, you're like, oh,
yeah, exactly.
Can't wait for you to die. Your ideas. So where can people what's your podcast called, Gary?
It's the Not Ready for Primetime Project. We're available anywhere you get podcasts: YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all of that. We do that's our feed, and then within the feed we do different shows. So the early years we go episode by episode through the first 5 years.
Oh shit.
We do Bill Swirsky's Tournament Talk, where we will.
Oh, I saw that. That was cool. Yeah,
we'll rank different, like we did best bits, best holiday moments, stuff like that.
And some of it's tournament style.
It's all tournament style. So we do 16
and that's for the entire run of the show, or it's just for the early years.
That's for the entire run of the show. Yeah. We have Deep Thoughts. With Brad and Gary, where we review things that aren't necessarily the episodes.
That are SNL adjacent.
Yeah.
Or
so like we did the
franchise.
40th anniversary show and some of these other weird projects that SNL does. And then we do My SNL Story, which is we interviewed Marilyn Suzanne Miller, one of the original writers, Susan Morrison, Gary Kroger. So we get people who are involved in the show in some way and we interview them about it. And it's interesting.
Nice.
Yeah.
So that seems time consuming. Like you said, how many episodes you did in that short little time?
Yeah. Well, Brad does a lot of the pre-production work. He's the one who gets in touch with people, and he's very good about that. And like I said, he is.
So you're just the uppity talent that
you just show up and wing it.
Just come in, and everyone's like, "It was a pleasure working with you, Gary."
You do no prep. Show up and act like an asshole. I know that guy.
Yeah, I learned from the best. And then I do post production on it. So totally.
You learned at the hands of the master. I see.
It is a lot of SNL, and it's a lot of going back and watching these first 5 years. Honestly, part of the reason we took a break was Brad was like, "You need a break from watching all of these because you hate everything." And I was like, "Yeah, I kind of do." But it's fun, and it's like seeing someone like Dan Aykroyd as a 23-year-old doing this shit is just blows your mind.
Yeah. It's kind of like seeing an old band that you love, seeing in the early years.
Right.
Some concert footage or whatever.
Babyface footage,
Yeah, the Hooters from 1984.
My wife, you have a date with my wife. They're doing
they're doing a reunion, an anniversary show,
at the
right?
Met, I think.
Yeah.
I said, I know Gary will go with you.
I'll go, yeah. Could see the Hooters again.
Yeah. Gary, have you been telling your friends about Jive and Honey and that they should listen to us?
Yes, all of my friends.
I mean, the friends that we don't know.
Oh, no, I've just been telling friends that we all know.
Thanks. That does a lot of good.
It's a whole lot of are you listening to this thing? Should I? It's a whole lot of those texts
I'm supposed to be on
calls.
it. Do you know what it's about? No, I'm in the car now, heading there. I need to know.
Jay, and Joseph. Yeah, that one. No, they're much better now. It's like
they haven't been canceled yet.
Yeah, that's about right. So we were going to make you write down 5 people that you've told, and then we were going to call them.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Next time we're going to make you do that. So,
but halfway through, I was just like, I can't do that to Gary.
That would be funny.
Well, thank you
Shit.
again very much.
Yeah,
we
Gary.
really, really do appreciate you doing this. And
Yeah.
yes, and please don't forget, unlike Gary, please tell someone to listen to this show.
You want me to tell people? I'll tell people right now.
Tell them right now.
Hey, everybody, you should listen to, what is it?
Well done. Well delivered, too.
That was a fucking setup. God
damn it.
All right. Well, whatever. Sure hope you don't die on the way home. You know, I'm on Hillary's call list. I won't mind dragging your dead corpse out.
You say that, and then you're like, he doesn't look this heavy. How is he this heavy?
What has he been eating?
Dead bodies are a lot heavier than you think. That's all I got to tell you. If I know anything in life.
It is surprising.
Yeah,
Surprising.
yeah. And considering how much he talks about drowning you, you're going to be waterlogged.
And he's leaving with no cuts, no scrapes. He hasn't thrown up, and he has all his shoes and pants.
Yes, we are delivering him back with his keys.
I haven't left yet.
Yeah.
You're still rolling. You haven't watched me leave.
All right. Good times.
Later.
Thanks. Hey,
How's it going, okay?
It's good.
Are you living the hobo life, or you got a job? What's up?
Yeah, you working?
Living the hobo life, baby. It's good stuff.
You got a little handkerchief full of sandwiches on a stick?
Yeah. Don't tell Hillary. I leave the house every day.
Sweet. We did that gig. All right.
Briefcase full of newspapers?
Drive around his neighborhood and see him on a park bench.
Not even a park bench. It's just on the curb.
Yeah.
You're sitting on a... It's like, does he wear a suit every day to do that?
I'm reading 8-year-old Sports Illustrateds. Can't even afford new ones.
Your briefcase.
You're like, Ken Bo Jackson play both ways. What?
It's a crossing guard vest. We don't
It's
have
just-
a crossing guard here.
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's a loaf of bread and peanut butter and jelly in the briefcase. Making myself a sandwich.
Oh, man, that's funny.
Holy shit.
Good stuff.
That's kind of what it's like.
Just checking.
That's sort of your life?
Kind of.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, fuck, that's funny.
Oh, shit. Let me put my ginger ales away.
All right.
Are we seeing all this shit?
You know, we pretty much always see something. It's fine. Yeah, don't worry. You block it with your massive torso.
Yeah.
Right.
Are they running?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
No, somebody's gonna come in and hit start on everything.
Gary, will you, come on.
Sorry.
Did the producer take care of you when you came in?
Took care of
And
myself.
we're going to have someone dressed up just like you to be Gary.
You probably wouldn't have had as much gray in the beard as there actually is.
We're like, oh shit, we got to go back and make up.
Yeah. Quick.
All right, let's you want to do this? You guys
Sure.
ready?
Yep.
Sure.
All right.